tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your #1 source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, AFTERBUZZ fans and the New Jersey super fans alike. Welcome to the Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 6, Episode 6, The Family Business. I'm your host, Grant Rutter, and with me tonight...
Hi, everybody. Megan Stecher here.
Let's do it. There's lots to say, and a few bones I have to pick with a few people. So let's go for it. Let's open up with really the namesake of the episode, The Family Business. We saw Teresa. I want to call her Teresa, but it's Teresa. And her husband and these restaurants that they own. We were introduced again to their brat son. Can I just say it? We were introduced to him.
Awful.
And this kid's supposed to be like foaming at the mouth to be able to work in the restaurant world, and he doesn't look that interested. But so we saw that their restaurant, Pane Vecchio, and then previously we've seen Angelo's, and now we're seeing this new restaurant that they want to build. I guess it's going to be like in a strip mall in New Jersey.
I love that.
I'm just kind of boiling it down. A little shade.
I thought it was like a little McMansion when I saw it. And then they start talking about the storefront. And I was like, oh, of course. They bare bones down a little strip mall. And they're taking it over. And there was houses on all sides. I thought that was so funny.
I think it's going to be like, there's like multiple stores. And like they just have like a restaurant part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those just one of those little neighborhood joints. But good. I mean, at least it won't be one of those monstrous, having a place in Little Italy in New York is certainly something to very much keep up with. So at least this will be a little more on the down low, not as crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really have come to the conclusion now, we're 6 episodes in, that I'm not very crazy about Teresa. She kind of drove me crazy when she was like screaming about walking in mud with her $1,800 shoes, and I don't know, that's just kind of like gross to me after a while. I like that in a way. Like I get like a kick out of it, but at the same time, like the way she like goes about it is just obnoxious to me. I don't know.
I'm a cheap chica. I'm all about, if you want to look a certain way, great. I'm not into the labels. I think that was something when I was 20 years old in college that everybody who I met from New Jersey was into, and I thought I should be into. So I had a phase for maybe 5, 6, 7 years of lusting after those big name things, and it's such a silly thing to waste your money and time on. So
it's definitely
to hear her do that, I was like, so Jersey. So Jersey.
I know one woman. I know one woman that I grew up with, and everything about her was names constantly, and like, she wouldn't even buy anything that wasn't a name, but she couldn't afford anything, so all of her money went to these names. So that's definitely like part of the culture there. Not everyone, but a few people. What did she walk around with? I wrote it down. The Jimmy Choo's. She had to walk around in almost $2,000 shoes.
A muddy construction site.
I mean, I like the whole fur thing she had going on.
Fur was good.
She looked good. She dressed as well, but I just find it to be really obnoxious.
I think if you want to go for a certain look, go for it. I don't think you need to particularly waste the money on the brand names, is what I think.
I don't really care for her and her husband that much. They're not my favorites. I think they're really showy and in your face and phony. I don't know. I don't mean to be so negative.
No,
but
I think she's not. She's been, on the line as far as I don't love her, I don't hate her.
Yeah.
And then, her husband's the big mouth of the show, so we'll see where that goes. I don't know.
Right.
Not into them.
No, not too much. They want to call this new place the Son of Reno, or in Italian. They want to call it that. And then we saw the son again cursing at his mother in the streets. And then
driving the car, yeah.
They love to do this on this show, though. They love to have like the mothers talk about how they're such like, a strict disciplinarian, and then they cut to like these kids disrespecting them, like throwing themselves like over the stairs, like all like terrible things. They love to do it. Every week they seem to do it.
Well, it's like yet again, we saw Reno and Teresa's son acting as if he's never held a job.
Yeah.
He never, oh, it's my first day with a learner's permit driving the car. It's all about, oh, he's 18. He's not going to go to school. He's going to run the family business. Well, he's not a man yet.
Yeah.
You guys really didn't do a great job of making him a man yet.
Yeah.
If he's 18. I thought he was 15, 16.
Right.
Well, I mean, we had that whole discussion. Yeah. I was like, why wasn't he a busboy in the restaurants all these years? But
yeah.
That's just where I stand on it.
Yeah, and that's just going to cause a lot of animosity, too, when you step in and you've got people who have climbed up and, learned the business because but, when you have someone who's nepotized, it really makes everything difficult. But that's how it is in this day and age, though. It's all nepotism. Do you notice that? I mean, even in somewhere like New Jersey, I mean, we live in a big city here in LA, and that's a huge thing. But even in the restaurant business now, it's really what it is more than most. Can you really climb up? Can you really just kind of start off as a busboy and then eventually manage your own restaurant, or is it really now who you know and who you're related to?
I think it's all who you know.
Yeah.
It's all left up to fate and who you know.
Yeah. So, it doesn't matter if he works hard or not then. So
I guess.
Yeah.
That's probably why we see a juvenile side of him, is that he's got it made and he hasn't had to man up. So that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. I think it's a good thing that they're opening a third restaurant, though. I mean, things must be really good.
Yeah.
So that's nice. But I just feel like we haven't really been introduced to Teresa yet, the real her.
Correct.
I feel like we've seen this image that she wants to put out there of like, being really like super Italian and just like, like everything is just so great. We don't know like what makes her tick, we don't know we've seen the tears with many of the housewives, from Jacqueline in the past, Dina this season. We really are getting more of a three-dimensional view, and with her it's all surface. And I know we're only 6 episodes in, but I want to see more of the true her.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know her. I mean, she's a twin, and her husband owns restaurants. She's the married twin. That's kind of where we are with her.
Yeah, and I'll save it for later, but I think we'll maybe see some hot button issues coming up.
Right, okay.
I'll save that for later.
Yeah. Meanwhile, over on the other side, there's town. Joe, Teresa, and Gia celebrating her 13th birthday. What did you think of that? I mean, those scenes.
I thought it was really sweet. Yet again, we're seeing Joe, the loving father, Joe, the amazing husband. I mean, it's really nice to see that side of him. Shows there are two sides to every coin.
Right.
I felt that it was a very genuine scene. I didn't feel like he was acting. I felt like it's what he really wanted to talk about with his daughter. As far as, you're 13. How is everything? Are you kissing any boys? What did he said something about yous? Are yous kissing? Yous, which I love yous. People say that in Philly where I'm from. So that. Yous. Yeah. I don't know what to think about it. I felt really bad for Gia that it's hard to be like, yay, I'm 13. I'm finally a teenager and thinking about, well, what's my future because my parents could both be going away.
Right. So. And Teresa, the saint of New Jersey, gave
Saint Teresa.
Yeah, really though. At this point, she is being so careful.
Saint Joseph of what's the town again?
Franklin Lakes. Well, where they are, I think it's a different place. I don't think their house is in.
Wait, they're
Franklin
actually
Lakes.
In Franklin Lakes.
Is it that?
And
really?
Joe and Melissa, their McMansion is in a different, right nearby town. And Colts Neck is the other town where the twins and Amber and Jim are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you're right. And I don't know. So, like, they gave their daughter this huge ring that Teresa had.
Ridiculous.
Now, do you believe that this is the only gift they gave this girl?
Not at all. Not at all. And this whole, like, oh, we're not materialistic anymore. Blah, blah, blah.
We're not going to need no more birthday parties. They're happy with anything. Like, okay.
I think they gave the girl something she would actually want, or at least, like, some clothes or something to wear to school.
Right.
Not this ridiculous, humongous diamond ring. First of all, I feel like I can't even believe that it was Teresa's mother's, because I feel like something that large wouldn't have been in fashion in that day. Plus, middle class, upper middle class folk wouldn't have owned something that large in that day. I just don't even. Yeah. I don't know. It kind of blows my mind the size of that ring.
Yeah, it
all
was
those
really.
Diamonds.
I don't know. I mean, I don't receive jewelry in that. I wouldn't have any interest in that. But for a girl her age, like, is that something that you would like to receive, or is that more of like a clunker gift?
I think that maybe when your daughter's 18, as like you're now your own woman and you're going off into the world and like, I want you to have this in the future. We'll keep it in the family safe. Yeah. Maybe that would have been a good time to give it to her.
Right.
At 13, you are not a woman.
If she's in middle school, where the hell is she going to wear this big ring? Like,
exactly.
Where do you wear it? Like, to the grocery store? Like when you're like, or like, you're going to like a bowling alley with your friends at like 13. Like, where are you going to wear that ring?
Nowhere to wear it. Unless there's some grand like black tie wedding the family's going to, or I don't know.
Well, I'm surprised that they didn't put in a line where Teresa says, we almost had to sell it. Because they're trying to play this like poor. We're so.
I was just thinking that, like, why don't they just hawk it first, the legal bills they keep talking about?
And then she mentioned that she was looking to downsize. So they were like trying to strip that whole image that they have. But let us not forget that we've seen her pay for furniture in cash. It's all Italian marble in that house. It's the French chateau look. And they lost, remember they had all their furniture repossessed. Then they went out and bought all new furniture to fill the house. So, I mean, like, can you picture Teresa living in a raised ranch?
See, the thing is, well,
that's what she wants you to believe.
The thing is, it's like, this is going to sound hateful. The personalities that all these women have on the show, that's where I see them as their station in life. But somehow all their husbands have come into some kind of job where they make plenty of money, that they all have these ridiculous McMansions and they all think they're so super special and like, CEO of this, that, and the other. And they act as if, oh my gosh, I'm the first lady of the United States. Where we could all see them being, the girl you see at the, anybody's regular old soccer mom you see at the grocery store. So, yes, I can see her in a ranch. And then kind of no, because I'm so used to seeing her as done up, overdressed, overdone Teresa. So
well, I'm almost positive that they sold that shore house that they had because they asked Melissa on What Happens Live, like in the last time she saw Teresa, and they're like, well, we haven't really seen them when they came down to the shore house. They used like our boat last weekend, so they used to have that house. We saw it on the show before. So I bet they had to sell that for legal. Was like, I mean, when you think about things that are like the first to go, something like that was just so strange. And plus, they're trying to make this, they're trying to present this image of this wholesome, we can live peacefully and a regular lifestyle, like please judge, or someone in the judge's family watch us,
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't hate on them for it because they do have a platform where they can use that and maybe it will work in their advantage. I don't think it will make a huge difference. I mean, they're up against some serious crimes and not up there for, traffic, citations. So who knows?
Right.
Anything else you want to say about Joe and Teresa? I mean, Teresa did her vision board, and I was going to make a joke. I was going to say she should put freedom on the board, and she did. Well,
I thought it was a little rude that in her little interview segment that she was like, I can envision things. I don't need to put them on a cork board. Like, that was rude. Dina's your best friend. She's doing something that's taking time out of her day just to make you feel better.
Right.
So I thought that was a little rude.
Are we over Teresa in many ways since she's evolved and changed so much? And who knows if she's really changed, but her image is so different. She's not, I know she's going through things. So I don't want to say she's not the fun Teresa because I know she's up against real life problems, but she's trying so hard to present herself one way. And she's taken all the fun out of it.
I kind of like this new leaf she's turned over, even if it's fake, because it was so over evil backstabbing Teresa from the past few seasons that it's nice to see a different side.
Right. But I kind of liked over the top Teresa.
It could be a little fake, but I'm enjoying the quiet, calmer Teresa that we're seeing this season.
I don't know. To me, I feel like almost like we've seen the arc. We've kind of seen her go from one extreme to the next, and I just don't know if what else is left for that character.
You're ready for the next big storyline to take off for her.
Yeah, or maybe I think maybe she should just go quietly.
Yeah.
She might have to.
She might have to.
You know,
which we'll talk about.
I think she really should just move on quietly now. But the show is this huge source of income for her, so I don't hate.
I mean, it kind of is the only source of income for the family right now. So,
Yeah, Joe, what does he do?
Right. Well, and I'm thinking maybe that's a little bit why she's the calm, quiet Teresa this year, because Joe really doesn't have a job anymore. They're fighting all the legal battles, and Teresa had to do the show to bring in income. So maybe she was like, I'm sick of being the villain. I can't be that person anymore. You guys have to let me be the nice person this year.
Right now, I see the show as kind of a divide because we don't really see much of Teresa interacting with Amber. The twins have their own storyline separate, and then there's like Dina and Teresa on this side. So it's really almost like I feel like a lot of people on the show are islanded in stories, and it's not very cohesive. And I want to see it start to like gel together. It's kind of like the new Housewives and the old ones.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I mean, like I want to see it come together. I think there's a lot. And they tried with this dinner. They have the dinner, and Kathy, I don't know why she still makes appearances on the show. She's not a housewife. They don't even bother to mic her up.
Thank you.
I mean, like, why is she even there? Like, I mean,
I think she got one line this week instead of 0 from the last few episodes.
I just get frustrated because I don't understand like what the attraction is to having her on the show. This girl really never really gave anything to the show.
Her husband was kind of the only person who ever spoke up.
I mean, and I like how she like came into the party like pimping those cannolis. Like, look, her face was on it. Did you see? It was like a little computer printout.
Kathy's cannolis.
Yeah, it was like a little computer printout on like cardstock, and it was like her face. Like, I'm like, ooh, business isn't going very well, huh? I mean, I thought she was in like Dylan's candy stores. I went to the one at the Grove here like last year, and I asked, I was like, where's Kathy Wakili's cannoli kit? I was just curious. And like, oh, that's only in the one in New York. So it was a limited run, I assume, if anything. But I mean, I wish her well, but like, I know I found it weird when it came out that she was going to build this big house. Because it was always like, well, hold on. Like, you know, you're not really a housewife anymore. Like, why, when you have your kids moving out to college, do you want to build this big house? Like, who are you trying to impress? You know, like, why? But, I mean, whatever. I'm not hating on her. I'm just saying, like, I mean, like, I'm just kind of over her. I don't know. But I do like Rosie, and we met Rosie's girlfriend. So what do you think?
Love. I'm so happy that Rosie finally has a love connection. Thank the Lord. No one in the world deserves her more than Rosie. Thought the girlfriend seemed like a sweetheart. Thought it went great. I wish everyone would stop picking on them at the dinner.
Yeah,
but I'm
Rosie can handle it.
I mean, Rosie's so in love that she stood up in front of everyone and made a big speech to her girlfriend. Like, how sweet. I loved it.
And I love that they met on camera previously.
Yes.
You know, I mean, they met with like, they went to that bar last year, and it kind of like they could use that flashback. Like, that's just great. That show, I will say, like the show probably, if it's changed anybody's life for the better, it's Rosie.
Probably Rosie,
yeah. So
sweet.
Yeah, and what a difference. I don't know if you think like when the way the show started with someone like Danielle, who was so polarizing, who I really love, but it's just so like, you know, extreme, and then like someone who's just so like, you know, the everyday, you know, woman really, Rosie, who's just like, you know, just a regular chick. And I feel like she's somebody who we know, not like Teresa, where I'm still trying to read her. Like Rosie is very transparent, and like I like that. I connect with it, so it's interesting to see how they keep weaving her in.
I'd be interested if they made her a full-time housewife. Honestly, she's my favorite
Now
out of
that
everybody.
would be a game changer.
Game changer.
Yeah. What would her tagline be? What would her tagline be?
Oh my gosh.
That would be interesting.
Think about it. Let me think about
it. I'll let you think about that. And then Melissa.
Wait, I got it.
What?
Something about, come play in my garden. Everything's coming up rosy.
Oh, there you go. That's cute.
That's terrible. Terrible. But I tried.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they would probably do something with her name because it is like, I don't know what it would be. Yeah.
Rosie. Anyway.
I just think it's cute. Like, she has her relationship with her mother.
If she got a spinoff, that would be so amazing.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to see her on, and let us know in the comments if you saw her on the Millionaire Matchmaker. I don't think it worked out, but I think like it was like a good episode.
Oh, okay.
It was like a year ago. It wasn't recent.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Let's move on. So Melissa is going to basically be like a spokesperson or the ambassador for this new trash business. And I honestly couldn't be getting more bored with it. I thought her singing career was interesting.
Yes.
Because it was kind of goofy. Like she's like this mom of like 3 kids, and she's like trying to be like, she's like Michael Jackson, Melissa Gorga. And I was like, okay.
She's
like,
trying
whatever.
to be like a J-Lo, which I think she has completely modeled her image after. Which
Really?
She looks just like a J-Lo to me, honestly. She's working it. Do it, Melissa.
But the whole like studio in the basement, all that was like so weird. But no, I mean, like, good for her in a way, but like, I don't know, I guess now that they went from being like really interesting and fascinating to now it's kind of like just like, I feel like we're like following them around town, like they're at the dealership and now they're gonna go and like, you know, they're just gonna like sell trash or whatever. I mean, like, okay. But I think that they know what they're doing, and Melissa will get a lot of men's attention.
Well, just like Joe said, that they'll look right down at her cleavage and be like, whatever you say,
Yeah. I wonder why they went that route. I feel like Joe is like one of those like perfect house husband, like an entrepreneur. Like,
yeah,
what do you?
course.
But what do you do? Like, you're an entrepreneur. Like, no, but really, what do you do? Like, I want to know. You know. So I feel like he's perfect for it, and that a lot of guys just do that. Like they flip homes and they like move along with their own businesses and they make different investments. I know people who do that, and sometimes they really are. You know, they find that right timing, that right business. So maybe this is it.
Yeah.
I saw a truck on the road today just like that, and I thought of them. It was
really?
yeah, on the freeway at like.
I feel like you're always investigating for this show.
I know. I've got my eye out there for you over here on AfterBuzz TV exclusive. Let's move on. Amber and Nicole. We haven't seen much of Amber. I'm still really liking that new housewife. I'm really liking her. What do you think?
She and her husband are so good for this show. I cannot stress that enough. They're the only ones starting anything, and I love it.
Yeah,
they're a mess. I can't stand them, but I love them.
Yeah, I like her. She almost, to me, and I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about the show. Like, I mentioned this to a friend. I was almost like, yeah, it seems like Amber is kind of moving on to like, she's like the new, dare I say it, Caroline. Now, obviously, Caroline is on her own level. We love her or hate her, but I feel like Amber is one of those girls that will like is not afraid to like just kind of give someone a look and be like, no, you're very wrong. Where Caroline would be like, she would just cut through it and get to like the real basis of the truth. But she also was, a good person. And I feel like I don't really know Amber very well right now, but I feel that she is one of those no nonsense chicks, and they need that in New Jersey. They do.
100%. I think Caroline always gave a lot of the motherly vibe out and a lot of motherly advice, whether you wanted it or not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Amber has a quick tongue, so she's not afraid to speak her mind, which we need, especially on the Housewives, especially in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I see where you're making the comparison.
Yeah. So they had this phone call, which was weird because like she put her on speakerphone in the middle of the office.
In the office, I loved it with the coworker with his like laughing and looking over his desktop computer. Like, is she serious? Is this girl doing this in the middle of the office? Yeah,
they both kind of went for it though on the call. Like they really didn't they didn't hold back. They weren't like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you, but we'll deal with it in person. No, they were like, actually, like we needed, like they were into it like then. They were going in deep right then. And then like she just like canceled the call on her. Can you imagine? Would you show up? Like,
I don't think I would.
Or else
I would do a little bit of like a fighting over text. Be like, if you expect me to show up, you better call me back and apologize.
Yeah, I know. They never referenced that when they did sit down. So they sat down and both of them were like armed with their men waiting in the cars. Did you notice that shot?
That was hilarious.
Yeah, they're like waiting outside. Like, oh, come on.
How they both got dropped off by their men, which was different. Usually whenever we see these women coming to these little meetups at restaurants to discuss something that went down, they drive themselves, they park themselves, no big deal. Yeah, and this time, you know what though? I could be wrong, but I didn't see from either of the shots that we saw to be able to see the men in the car. It was just the voices of like, oh, thanks for the ride, honey.
Well, I saw Jim. I did see him because he was in the backseat of the car, like on the phone, right when Nicole pulled up. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting shot. So, yeah, they were real close. And then the cars were in the background when they were talking. You could see both black cars.
Okay.
Excuse me. So, yeah, I was noticing that they were, like, there the entire time. And you could tell those women weren't, like, getting together to eat anything. It was, like, for the show, for 10 minutes, like, go in, chat,
say what you gotta say.
Yeah. And I don't know, I kind of like the setting. It was, like, a little bakery. It was different.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that they wasted time like ordering cappuccinos and biscotti, but
yeah. Amber wasn't having it. Amber wasn't having it. She was like, all right, let's go. She was like, come on, hurry up.
With the arms crossed. The girl is always armed and ready with the arms crossed.
Yeah.
She's just ready to fire.
Right. So they sat down, and Amber looked very nervous to me. And maybe it was just the shot they got her, but she was like fidgeting and just really uneasy. And then Nicole mentioned that she was like really hurt, like right off the bat. She was just really hurt at the situation. And I really don't think that, we said this before, Amber was spreading rumors about her. Do you think that she was out there spreading gossip?
No, I think that it was right of Amber to say no to Melissa. I said this to Melissa. So she was standing her ground in that. I wasn't gossiping about you. Calm down. Let's talk about it. Don't freak out on me. But, you know, we did see Amber fire up right away and get defensive, as always. Not that Nicole was making it easy on her, but, you know, we did see the Amber with the talons come out. So.
Right, yeah. She's stressed. She said, I heard that you had an affair, but she wasn't making it up and like getting on the phone and like telling everyone. So she really stressed that, and I think that's the truth. I really do. So I think like Amber like did pretty well in this situation overall, and Nicole is just really looking for camera time, I think. And Nicole had a valid point. She was a little affected when Amber kind of like hit below the belt and talks about her relationship with Bobby. They've only been together for 9 months. That's like nothing. And they're talking about like how they're in this like serious relationship and like she's like ready for the next step. But they're not even like a year in, 9 months.
Well, Amber obviously went for the jugular in saying the nasty stuff to Nicole in the fight about this is why he'll never marry you, which is Nicole brought that up. And they cut to Amber's one-on-one interviews, and she said, Bobby's a gigolo. You know, I've seen a million girls come and go. He uses them. So I thought that was very telling. I'm not sure if that was still Amber who was hurt saying that and not meaning it, or if that was really true. Well,
I think it was a low blow because she's had Bobby, who she labeled as a gigolo, which is almost like starting a rumor right there.
Thank you.
Yeah. And she had him, who was just in her house the previous episode, and he supposedly was friends for like 10 years or 12 years with her husband. So, I mean, you know, then if he's such a lousy guy, why do you allow your husband to be friends with him? Why is he in your house with your kids? You know, like, why is he okay to be in a relationship with your friend, your supposed friend? Like, you know, if you know all this truth about him, that was just like a low blow. Great for TV. But, I mean, to put that label on somebody is not a good thing. And she's gonna get a lot of backlash for that, I think.
I'll bet.
Because he's not gonna take that down, like laying
Well,
down.
Basically, he's a house husband this year, even though they're not married.
Yeah,
he's on the show. So yeah, you're right. That's not gonna go lightly once that's picked up.
Yeah, I just didn't think that was fair for her to say. It was a great soundbite, but you know, I mean, if that was like your husband's friend, and up until like the previous week,
right.
Clearly, you just have an agenda, a hateful agenda to say things like that. Unless if she, like I said earlier, when I related to her to Caroline, maybe she's just cutting through the BS and just calling it like she sees it. But still, I mean, you know,
I think it's either way. I think if she said it while she was still hurt from the big fight, that it was probably saying it to be nasty. And, you know, it was something maybe she thought once or twice in the past, and she said it to be hurtful, you know, so that it would be out there. Or else it is totally true. Or else she is being, you know, not doing the BS and just said it.
Well, I don't know her well enough to see. Like, you know, when Caroline said things, I was like, I listened. You know?
Right.
And so now
she was
like,
no nonsense.
Yeah. So, you know, we'll see. So everything going on with that dinner, or it's not that dinner, that get together seemed to clear the air. they really didn't really get too deep into it. I mean, they brought up their viewpoints, and then they kind of just like, all right, still want to be friends with you. But it was like, that was weird though, because they kept kind of going back and forth, like, you were my friend. Well, you are my friend, but we were friends.
Right.
So like, it was like teetering, and I guess it, it worked out. And like, did Nicole owe Amber a second chance? Yeah, I think she did.
And I think it was nice to hear them both say, I'm sorry. We never hear that on the Housewives of New Jersey, like, ever. No one from the former cast or from the current and former cast have ever said that. They never say, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's always, they kind of just decide to kiss on the cheek at the next get together, and then it's kind of over.
Danielle did during that very awkward hug at that reunion, like 4 seasons ago.
The worst with Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, moving on.
Well, no doubt Amber will be discussing this with her husband, her sounding board. And before we get to Jim, I know you have some interesting news about Jim. Let us transition to some news and gossip.
For anyone just...
AfterBuzz TV News.
What do you got for us?
For anyone just listening, I was doing my own little dance. So the Twitter extravaganza continues. So last week, when I was watching the show, previously on Real Housewives of New Jersey, Bobby, the one and only Bobby, retweeted a tweet where I said Amber and Jim just alienated themselves onto their own island, and why would they have a little breakup, so to speak, with Bobby? He loved that, retweeted it. A few days later, Jim, the Jim Marchese, wrote back to what I tweeted. Must have been coming off of Bobby's tweet feed, no doubt, or something.
Right.
I mean, why would he just answer me and only me? So he's he's digging through.
Yeah, it was a few days.
Digging through Bobby's tweets. That's creepy. Anywho.
Well, lucky for you.
Lucky for me. I had some news of what's going on at Jim. He wrote, here we go, quote, "Actually, we strategically removed ourselves from trouble. Better to enjoy family than to be surrounded by snakes." And Jim Marchese, the writer, used the wrong than. Instead of THAN, he wrote THEN.
He's supposed to be so
FYI,
brilliant,
Mr. Mortgage now.
I still like him. He can come here and we'll give him a platform, and he can tell us what he really thinks.
I would love to hear from him.
Yeah.
I thought that it was so crazy tonight, my brain almost exploded, that Amber said, "I'm on an island all by myself." And I was like, I tweeted that 2 weeks ago. I was so excited.
Yeah, you had a moment with that one.
Yeah, I did.
She is. She has really ostracized herself. She's the only one that's going to pull her into these twins, because Dina and Teresa are too busy cutting out pictures for magazines. I mean, they're not being very receptive, but we do see them together next week. Any other news you'd like to share with us?
Well, Radar Online's reporting, I don't know how truthful this may be, but they're reporting that Teresa is fired. This is so major. I mean, Teresa has been basically the main character for I don't know how many seasons now, at least 2, 3, 4, and we're in season 6 now. But she is reportedly refusing to film the new footage that they have been taping, even though they had previously wrapped the season. They're taping some new stuff, trying to get some updated footage, especially because they're trying to fill us in the gap up to the sentencing, which will be late September. So we'll see. I'm not sure really what's going on there.
Right. And there's another story kind of out of that note that they were going to bring when they shot in the recent month. They were going to shoot with Jacqueline, who's still rumored to come on for next season, so that's great. But supposedly she's coming back, and the producers have, quote, begged her, according to Reality T, to have her come back onto the show, because I guess it was too jarring to have both her and Caroline leave, and that they're going to offer her, and that they had to come up with they had to lure her in. So they're paying her allegedly $850,000 to do this next season, and that makes her the second highest paid housewife under Nene. Now
that makes for Jacqueline.
I said the same thing.
Come on now. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and they like made
sorry, Jacqueline, but you weren't that great.
Even TMZ like made a big deal about it. They were like, the Jacqueline always managed to bring the drama, and they like put on a clip from when like her and Caroline and Teresa were like yelling at each other at that like on the deck. Remember, like they were like yelling at each other that night, and she's like, "You're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to tell me like what's going on in your life." I mean, like yeah, Jacqueline was interesting TV, but I mean, you know, if you really want the money, you know who needs to make an appearance. Say it with me. Danielle. You know who they need. And Danielle, you can come here and have a platform as well. I would love to have her and get her thoughts because she's been MIA and there's a lot of changes on this show. And I'm sure she has an opinion.
I'm sure she thinks she knows all kinds of extra gossip that we don't know and has all kinds of terrible things to say about these new girls who she doesn't even know.
Right. Real quick, predictions. So far, it just looks like Dina deserves happiness.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Yeah, okay.
Dina was told she deserves happiness. Okay. And then it looks like Amber and Melissa have a moment, but it looks like Melissa is talking about a cancer experience with someone in her family, like her father. I don't think it dealt with Amber.
Yeah. I want to guess it's her dad because that's the only person that we all know of as an audience that has passed away suddenly.
Yeah. I don't think it was a situation where she was embracing or apologizing to Melissa about cancer. Maybe it would come up in the scene, but her emotions were based on something more personal. I could tell.
I think maybe she's relating something that happened either in the past or comes up present day and kind of maybe apologizing to Amber in a way because she's like, you know what, you're the only person I know that can relate to this situation. Well,
we need to start integrating Amber more. I want to see her interact more. And she's also going to be making an appearance with the one and only Victoria Gotti, who's dropping a bombshell.
I can't. Getting Victoria Gotti on this show is like... It's like The Sopranos in real life. I just...
Teresa's breaking out her purple feathers for another visit.
So, okay. So we saw in the preview for next week, it is Amber and Teresa there with Victoria Gotti, sipping the tea, spilling some tea. No, okay. So Victoria says... Go ahead.
What? I'm listening.
What did Victoria say?
She said that you're never going to guess who Reno had an affair with, and then she dropped a bomb.
So we need to know how Reno and Victoria Gotti know each other. This is great. This is good stuff. Yeah. This may help out our girl Teresa because we needed Teresa to get more in the mix and have more drama going on, and this is drama. Come on, Victoria Gotti to know her husband. Come on.
I thought it had something to do with Nicole's alleged infidelity, but apparently it has to do with the twin sister's husband.
Well, you go ahead with you were trying to say this earlier. And
I get where you're going now. Okay. My God. I think that if what's going to be shocking is if Reno had an affair with the other twin sister.
I mean,
that's what I think.
Stop it right there.
What else would get such a reaction out of people? You know, I mean, what would do it? Because, like, you know, they're not going to say, like, Teresa Giudice. Like, because, like, she's, I mean, so who else? You know, you just pick someone from the canvas, you know? So, we'll see.
Well, that would tie together the stories. So that would tie together Amber having heard that Nicole wrecked a family because Reno and Teresa did get a divorce and then remarried.
Right.
And I mean, that who would be the shocker that he had an affair with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah, well, that'll do it for us. We want to hear from more people on YouTube and Twitter, so leave your comments for us, and if you want someone to call in and give their 2 cents, let them know about us, because we're going to be working on them.
Yeah.
So where can we find you tonight?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Megan Stecher. It's MEGANSTECHER.
You can find me on Twitter at Grants__rants. Next, part 2 of me and my grandmother discussing hot topics in the car. The traffic report is coming up, so check it out. And yeah, go for it. Tweet us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.